All right, welcome back. It's your boy Gackt Cognac back with another just kicking it, chilling it, let's talk video. So one of my subscribers was like, man, you gotta tell some stories about when you was a kid, because you always talk about, like, you know, your brother and your cousin and stuff like that. Like, talk about the times when y'all used to play video games and get into fights and all types of crazy stuff that would happen, because you know, the same thing would happen in his household with him and all his friends, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I got plenty of stories to tell like that. So, anyways, before I start with that, I wanna give a shout out to my subscriber, Chris Shortbus Tatum, because he messaged me and was like, hey, man, like, I want to send you some of these empty cases I got, because you got a bunch of those DS games and stuff like that you picked up. And so he said he opened up the storage and got a bunch of games with just cases and just whichever ones he saw that I needed in my collection. He mailed them to me right here, man. So I'm just gonna like pop these open right now and like show you guys what he got me. Anyways, I never had anyone really send stuff to me, so this is kind of like pretty crazy. Like, I never really would have expected this. So it's a cool experience, man. I definitely appreciate it, buddy. So first came up is Kirby Triple Deluxe. Oh shit. Trying to get it in a good angle so it doesn't look all messed up, because I'm using that app called XSplit VCam. So it kind of, like, you know, puts me behind this fake background of mine. I mean, it's a real background, but I'm sitting at my computer right now. So yeah. So yeah, it doesn't have a manual or nothing like that, but it's cool. I needed this game. I didn't think I'll ever find this Kirby game for a box for a Kirby game, so that's cool. Next game that's up is Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. So, you know, I got that in a recent pickup, and he hooked me up with that as well. No manual up in there or nothing like that, but that's fine. I don't really care for manuals nowadays. Like, I'm not like how I used to be now, because I just get so much stuff. It's hard to keep track. The next game up is Pokemon White. Now, I don't have this game, but he figured, like, hey, you know, eventually, since you got all these Pokemon games, you're going to be looking for this one. So I'm going to send that to you too. Because I got the case for the Pokemon White 2 as well, so I'm missing those two. And I pretty much will have, like, most of the Pokemon games if I grab those. So no manual on this one, unfortunately. But that's fine. It's good to have this, because so many Pokemon games just come loose, man. Nobody cares for the cases, dude. And then lastly, he got me a new Super Mario Brothers. That's pretty common to find, but I just happen to have one. Don't have a you know, the case for it, so he sent it to me. So good looking out, man. This one has the manual and all, so that's pretty cool. But I appreciate it, Chris, man. Like, that means a lot. Never had people send stuff to me like that, but you know, I'm still considered a new channel. I'm not a big you know, subscribed channel, so that's just cool, man. Like, I appreciate it. So I just want to give you a shout out, because you always been watching, you always been on top of it. You even be promoting my stuff and all that. So, you know, I gotta give you that shout out, man. Appreciate it, Chris. All right, hope you're having a good year. Let's get on to it, man. Let's tell these stories, because I don't have that much time. So let's do it. All right. I guess the first story will start with my brother, because, you know, that's where it all starts, right? Playing with your brother or whatever on video games, and just shit just gets rough. I mean, I can name so many occasions that would happen. And I gotta give you a little background first, though, because me as a kid, like, I was kind of a violent kid, man. Like, from what I've heard from my mom and stuff, like, I was more of the aggressive kid when I was young. So, like, I would always, like, you know, grab batteries or whatever and just throw it at my brother, grab knives and go after him and stuff like that. I don't know why. So later on in the years, when he was like bigger than me, I guess maybe that's his version of like taking revenge and stuff. So he's like, you know, beat me up after he loses in the game, dude. And so I remember back in like NES days, we played like Double Dragon and all that stuff. If I beat him, man, he'd just take the controller and like hit me with it or something like that. And that went all the way to like PlayStation 1 era, dude. I remember we used to play like Marvel versus Street Fighter, and if I win or something like that, and then that's when like he would just crack me with the controller. Same thing for wrestling games. If I won him in a game, he'll take the controller and just go like, bah, and just hit me. Like he wouldn't hit me like in the head or nothing like that, but he would hit me in like my arm or something like that. And eventually, like that controller, he did it so many times that the controller had like a component that broke off on the inside. So when you shake the controller around, it's just like clack, 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 like that. Like you would hear something in there. And we kind of nicknamed that. Like when that happens, we'd be like, hey, look, man, it sounds like a piece of rice is up in there, like stuck in there. So it would be freaking just hilarious. Because like when we go to other people's houses, man, and then we would hear that sound. We were like, oh shit, man. You know, like you beat your brother up too? And they're like, with the controller? They're like, nah, we just dropped it too much. So I'm like, it's hella funny. Because like here everyone else like kind of gets that sound in their controller from the controller dropping, and I'm over here like, you know, my controller is fucked up because my brother kept hitting me with it, you know, because otherwise we never really fucked up a controller from like playing games or getting mad or nothing like that. I mean, yeah, he did, but the controller still works. So yeah, it would be a lot of that, man. Like I remember when we would play like a lot of fighting games, man, and we both would be button mashing because we didn't know the controls and stuff. So we'd be all blistered up at the end of the day. Man, those were the worst, especially in the Street Fighter games, man. Like you know, the back then in the days was I always had a controller next to me, but like I just use my phone as a controller. And so we would take the shirt up and just like put it on my thumbs and just like button mash like that, you know, with the shirt over our thumbs and try to alleviate the the blister or whatever, or keep us from getting blisters, man. It's crazy. I don't think I ever got a blister nowadays playing video games, but back then, that was not the business, man. So I remember one time, this is maybe when I was like 7 or 8. I don't remember, man. Like PlayStation 1, that's when we finally got it. And my favorite game was Twisted Metal, man. I used to get a lot of like hand-me-down games from like my brother's friends. I don't know what's up with that. Like man, our whole lives, like he had friends that just gave him games. I didn't understand that. You know, nobody gave me no games. All my friends were stingy ass motherfuckers back then. So they would give us like Twisted Metal, right? And like it was one of my favorite games, man. It was just hella fun, especially co-op mode and all that stuff. Hella fun. I even got like my cousins. They lived up in Chinatown, San Francisco back then. Like they would come over every once in a while and we just play that shit, play everything. So, you know, like my brother, like later on, he would say stupid shit to piss me off. Like he would antagonize me. I don't remember all the shit that he would say, but he would just like literally talk shit and imitate me in a dumbass way and just stupid shit, man. And me, I'd get hella angry back then. So when I was angry, like it didn't matter. Like if you made me cry when I was a kid, I would grab whatever the fuck I could and beat you with it, man. That's just how I was. So I remember we were at my grandmother's house and he kept fucking with me. So my mom had this like tennis racket, this golden tennis racket or something like that, or at least it was like copper colored. And I don't know where she got it from. She didn't play tennis like that. She probably got it from the thrift store or something like that, man, because she was just hoarding like crazy. So, you know, he kept saying dumb shit. I just took that tennis racket and just whacked him with it, you know? So he got like hella mad and, you know, he didn't like really beat me up. Cause like for me, it's like, you know, like I didn't fucking care you beat me up like that. Like that didn't do enough, you know, that wasn't enough to fucking like make me stop, right? So he knew how to get me, man. Like he ran over to the PlayStation because, you know, I love me some games, man. When I was a kid, like I didn't give a fuck about doing anything but playing video games. So he went over there and just beat up the PlayStation. Like literally took his like fist like a hammer and just went like bop, 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 bop right on top of the PlayStation, hella hard, right? And then I was like hella crying because I was for sure, I thought like that PlayStation was done. Like he broke that shit. And so I popped open the lid to the PS1, and there go the PlayStation, or there go the Twisted Metal, broken in half, literally. So I was like, man, fuck, dude. Like, you know, my mom literally like bought us that PS1. I think for like, even it was like for my birthday or something like that, man. And good thing, like, we popped in another game or something like that, and it still worked. So damn, I gotta give to Sony on the first time around making a game system, and that thing could take a beating, you know. And I still got this PlayStation to this day. It still runs like a champ. I mean, I haven't checked it in a while, but last time I checked, it still runs, dude. Even after it took a beating. So good shit. Man, and there would just be a lot of occasions he would do stupid shit like that, man. So it wasn't even like really fun playing like competitive games with my brother, because, you know, he would do some sore loser ass shit, you know. And that's not to say I wasn't sore loser either, because like I'll get mad too, but like not to the point where I gotta like beat somebody up for it. So I remember we used to play like SmackDown, like the first SmackDown. He was the same, like it was the same shit, you know. Like he would get hella mad and be like, "Nah, man, you can't use that character. Like that game's you can't use The Rock no more, man. He's hella cheat, or you can't use Kane or some shit like that." You know, like it would be hella funny, dude. Like you know, it's hella funny back then if like a person loses and go like, "Nah, you can't use him no more. He hella cheat." Because people still say that shit to this day. You know, like, "Nah, man, that's just too cheap, man. You know, can't use him. You gotta use another character." And a lot of times, like, we'll be like, "All right, I'll use the same character you pick," and he whoop his ass, and then fucking, you know, now you can't say shit no more, right? So, "Nah, man, you was button mashing, man." Like, you know how it is, crazy. So, man, I used to have like some funny ass stories. Like one time, this was a funny, like this wasn't really related to gaming, but I was the one playing video games at the time, and all this shit happened in the background. So this is how I remembered it, and it was hella funny. So I remember back then we used to live in like this apartment back in San Francisco, right? And so I don't know, like we couldn't have people come over our place back then. Like my mom didn't like that shit, you know. So my brother, like, you know, as a kid, you know, like everyone was going to like other kids' homes, and no one was going to our place, and we was never really going to other people's places like that. So, and then when we did, you know, it was for a short while. So I remember like one time my brother like snuck over his friends, right? And at the same time, like my cousins, they lived in Chinatown, and they came over for the weekend to visit. So, because, you know, we just come, chill, watch movies, play games, eat popcorn, whatever the fuck we do. And so one time, my brother brought over his friends, and it was like 3 or 4 of them. It was like at least 3 dudes, right? And one of the dudes, like, we didn't even know. It was like my brother's friend's friend, right? And he was a bastard, dude. He was a grade A cocksucker, dude. You know how you always got this like badass kid. He was like a bully, and, you know, like they always just fucking try to like fuck with you. So, you know, we had snuck them all over, and my cousin was over and stuff like that. And we just chilling, man. And, you know, some of his friends brought over some games. I remember like his Japanese friend, like he had hella games, man. So he brought Battle Arena Toshinden over for the PS1 with the big box. So I was like playing that shit, and was playing that, and then my brother's, you know, the bastard friend of my brother's friend, you know, he was just an asshole, man. Like he was just fucking, he kept doing dumb shit. Like that whole day he did dumb ass shit. Like he's the type that would like fucking give you wet willies and shit, and you know, just, you know, shit that just rewarded an ass whooping for. But like nobody was really like gonna whoop his ass because he was like older than everyone, man. or he was, he's just a punk ass. So, anyways, so yeah, so give a little background. Like my mom had went to Canada. Well, we went to Canada one time, and my mom had bought this this muscle, that thing. They had it back then. They got it now, but they just came out back in the days where, like, you plug this thing into this little machine that's battery operated, and there's like a little patch, and you put it on your neck or your back, and then it will like literally like give you spasms, man, because it gives you like this shock therapy, and it's supposed to be good for your muscles and all that good stuff. So, but as a kid, you put it on you, it feels hella weird. Like, literally feels like you're getting shocked. So, dude, like, had like got a hold of that shit. I don't know, he found it outside in the living room or something like that. So he starts like trying to shock everyone. He starts trying to like shock everyone in the fucking apartment, including like my brother and my cousins and shit like that, man. And so I remember we had a bunk bed, right? And my brother's like good friend, he was like literally playing like Game Boy or Game Gear on the bunk bed, while like this dude's like chasing my brother around and trying to shock his ass. And I'm over playing games, and I was like the youngest one, so like they wasn't really fucking with me. So it was like hella funny, because I think like one of my cousins was already on the bunk bed, and then he was chasing like my cousin and my brother and trying to shock them. And then my cousin like jumped on the fucking bunk bed, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know your ass. Why are you fucking trying to shock me for, dude? Fuck is wrong with you? Like that. So he jumped on the fucking top bunk, and then my brother follows suit and jumps on top of this bunk bed on top of that too, right? And so it was hella funny, because like you could just hear like the bunk bed like squeak and rock, and he's trying to like fucking get everyone on the bunk bed and shit. And so the bunk bed collapsed. Like, I'm talking about like luckily the fucking bunk bed didn't collapse all the way, because like my brother's like friend, the good friend, was like underneath the bunk. And so like the bunk bed was like this, right? And literally it didn't go like this and collapse, but it collapsed like one side. So it literally like just went like bam, and the freaking bunk bed just like hit the dude's head just enough that it hurt, but didn't crush him, that was underneath. And then like I'm just looking back, like just looking like the fuck, because I hear the fucking bunk bed just like fucking collapse, and I'm looking, and then like I thought like the kid, like my brother's friend, was like laughing, because like he was like like that, right? He started crying and shit, and I'm over here like, oh shit, dude, like what the fuck, like what the fuck just happened, and and that's when like everything got like kind of serious, because luckily like he didn't get crushed and shit, and everybody had jumped off the fucking bunk bed. We kind of like fucking just pulled him off the bunk and be like, oh man, you all right, man, blah blah, and dude just like, and the fucking cocksucking dude that was trying to shock people, he was still a fucking asshole after all that shit. Like after everything was fine and all, like, and then he's still fucking playing around. I don't know what else. I remember like they was like fucking like grabbed our Go-Gurt and shit out the like freezer and shit, and just like fucking trying to throw it at us and stupid ass shit, man. Fucking asshole. So I remember like even like after all that shit happened, like then we had like this coin bucket and shit. He was like taking all our coins, and fucking asshole, piece of shit. So anyways, that had happened, and like we didn't tell like my mom like none of that shit. We didn't want to tell my mom that shit, because like first of all, we wasn't supposed to have people over the place. So we just like fucking just like, oh, the fucking bunk bed was like hella weak, like that shit like collapsed or whatever. So we just at that point like took it off, and then put it on the side, and we was just sleeping on the freaking had the bunk bed on the ground side to side like this, and then after that we would have like wrestling matches and shit like that on those beds. It was funny. Yeah, it was funny back in the days, man, because like we would just fuck around, jump around and all that stuff. And like we was on like one of the highest floors on the on the freaking apartment. And so as a kid, we were hella dumb. We would like literally like jump on the top of the bunk bed down to like this bean bag we had on the ground and like make hella noise. So the people underneath us, man, they had to hear all that shit, man. Like they had to like literally like listen to all the thuds and yelling and running around and all that shit. And it was funny because back then they would just like take a broomstick handle and just like go like pop 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 like up the ceiling to fuck with us, right? And like, hey, look, these fuckers are like hitting the ceiling and shit. So we would like every time they would like go like ba da 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 with the freaking the broomstick handle, like we would just stomp the ground like stomp the fucking ground back at them, and then they would take the fucking broomstick like da da da, and we would be like that back and forth. It was hella funny, dude. Shit was hilarious. We were fucking badass fucking kids back then, dude. So yeah, that was that story. But I guess I'll tell you guys like one final story was with me and my cousin. The same cousins, you know, that I was talking about earlier. They came from if I didn't have shit, if me and my brother didn't really have much to play back in the days, like they really didn't have enough. Like they were just, you know, getting by and shit. So they were lucky enough to get games. Like they borrowed a lot of stuff from their friends too, and that's how they play games and stuff like that. But I remember one time, man, I swear this has happened. I swear, like when I asked them about it before, they said it never happened. But I know this shit fucking happened, dude. Like me and my brother was there. So we was visiting them at their place up in like Chinatown and shit, right? And we had let them borrow our PlayStation, along with, you know, Marvel versus Street Fighter or X-Men versus Street Fighter. I think it was X-Men versus Street Fighter. So we had to let them borrow that game. And so they was just playing, you know, they would play each other all the time and all that good stuff. And I remember one time like the older cousin like was whooping the younger cousin's ass, like literally, you know, like whooping his ass in Street Fighter all day. And so, you know, like my other cousin would be like hella mad. It's like, fuck that, man, run that shit back, you know, run that shit, you better run that shit back, man, blah blah, like that. And just he wouldn't admit the loss. And then like I guess the older cousin was kind of like, he was kind of antagonizing too. But it wasn't like my brother antagonizing. But, you know, he would say certain shit to like, you know, demean and degrade, you know, the younger cousin. And so he would get mad and be like, man, you better stop fucking talking shit. You know? He was like, man, fuck that. Like, all right, fuck this. Let's put real, like, he's like, let's put like real money on the stakes. Like, I bet you $100 fucking dollars I'm going to win your ass next round. Like that. All right? I bet you. And like, damn, dude, like a fucking $100, like, dude, like that must have been Chinese New Year's money or some shit like that, because we didn't have no $100 to bet like that, and they weren't too older than us. They were only like 3 or 4 years older than us and stuff like that. But I was like, damn, so we watched, right? And then even though he like betted him the $100, he still lost, dude. He still lost that freaking match, and so I was like, damn, dude, like is he gonna pay him? You know, and you know, my cousin's like hella honorable and shit, so he ended up paying and shit. But like literally, he took, like, it was funny, like he took like this mooncake box. Most guys don't know what that is, but you know how like people back in the days would put their money in like those cookie containers, or cookie box, stuff like that. So basically the same thing, except like the Chinese has like this thing called moon cake that they only serve around the Lunar Festival. So anyways, he took the moon cake box out of under the couch or whatever the hell he hid it, and he literally like busted out $100 and gave it to him, man. And so me and my brother was looking at each other. I was like, the fuck? Hell nah. He really did it. You know, like we were always thinking like, man, was that just like them fucking with us? Just showing us like how ballsy they are? Like the fuck was that, you know? Because me and my brother would bet too. We would bet each other like what, maybe like $5 as most during the matches, man. You know, shit like that. But we never like freaking bet that fucking hard. And mind you, like at that time, like we were maybe like 9 or 10 or some shit. So they couldn't have been more than like 12, 13, like around that age, I think. But it was just crazy, man. Or maybe they're even younger. I don't know. Young as fuck though. But yeah, like I mean, who as a kid, who as a kid would dare to bet $100? Like, any of you guys ever bet your siblings $100 at like 11 or 12 years old? You know, like, damn, dude, that's some true Asians and gambling type shit right there. That was some true stereotypical shit right there, man. But yeah, that was funny. There's plenty other times. Like later on when we grew up, I used to go kick it with my cousins all the time. So, and that was like later when I moved to Oakland and they still lived in San Francisco. So, like there was always like rivalry and stuff like that, but it was just hella funny because I remember back then we used to go over there, and man, like the brother would be like, or the older brother would like never let us like play games for long. It was hella funny. So, because, you know, like he was always the conservative type or frugal type. So he would always be like, nah, man, like y'all playing for too long. Like y'all using up all the electricity, you know, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And so me and my cousin, the younger cousin, would have to like literally like bribe his ass to like continue playing games. It was hella funny. So, so like literally like we would just be like, yeah, man. Like his thing was like, he always wanted like a massage or some shit like that. It was like, all right, man, I'll crack your back. Like I'll give you a massage or some shit like that if you fucking let us play for an extra hour and shit like that, man. Like it was funny. It was funny, man. He was literally being a police over that stuff. But it's good stuff, man. It's hella good. So, I mean, like, I never, like, fought with my cousins, though. Like, it was only just me and my brother. But I did fight a lot with my youngest cousin. Like, he's the one that's, like, way younger than us. And I remember it was hella funny because he's like 4 years younger than me, right? So he's always picking on him. We always fuck with him. And, man, we got him into like playing like all those games like Twisted Metal and all these other games, and like he would get hella mad every time he lose. So every time he lose, he started crying, man, or he'd run away, tell my grandma I was whooping his ass in the fucking game and shit, that I wouldn't let him win. And it'd just be hella funny, dude. But yeah, that was the main thing. Like, if I were to tell more stories, it would just be a long-ass video. I guess most of the other times just playing games like friends and all that stuff. Never fought my friends, but, like, it was more of just, like, a shit-talking rivalry and stuff like that. I think I told you guys before. We would just talk a lot of shit, man, back in the days. But, yeah, I mean, that's the main thing for that story. Just old memories and stuff like that. So, I mean, don't want to take up too much time because we're about to be like 30 minutes. So let me just ask you guys, how was it for you guys, man? Leave that in the comment. Like what kind of craziness have you guys gotten into when you guys were young, in terms of like sibling rivalry, in terms of gaming and all that crazy stuff. Like what did y'all do? You know, which part of the stories did you like that I told? Let me know. Anyways, I gotta get up out of here, have some dinner and chill. So I will see you guys on the next video. You guys want to get on that one because I got another good pickup video coming up. So stay tuned. This is your boy Gackt Cognac signing out. Go ahead and like and subscribe to these videos if you want to see more. That way you can get updated whenever I post, because I'm looking to post every 4 or 5 days. So anyways, thank you for watching. This is your boy Gackt Cognac. Out of here.